he put it all out there.
He did.
I give him a ton of credit for saying, "Hey, I'm going to jump on and tell you guys what's going on, what's the reasoning behind my decision. I'm not injured. There is no injury. I'm healthy. I'm good to go, but I needed a mental break. I was run down." That's what it came down to.
Pretty cool interview with Christian Pulisic. Let's do a little debrief. If you're watching on the YouTubes, what'd you think? What'd you think of that? We should maybe put up a poll. But Chuck, you go first.
The fans in the background were mesmerizing. I was
you mean the ceiling fans?
Yeah, I was trying to look at him, and the ceiling fans were going crazy. But he put it all out there.
He did.
I give him a ton of credit for saying, "Hey, I'm going to jump on and tell you guys what's going on, what's the reasoning behind my decision. I'm not injured. There is no injury. I'm healthy. I'm good to go, but I needed a mental break. I was run down." That's what it came down to, whether you like it or not. And in his mind, he obviously had one conversation with Pochettino, not many, and they decided that this was what he was going to do. So I'm glad that the right information's out there. The facts are out there, and people can stop assuming all of these different scenarios.
Do you think, I'm just curious why from a U.S. soccer standpoint you wouldn't say, yeah, you know what, Christian did ask to play in the 2 friendlies because that's what he told us.
Yeah.
And we just made a decision. No, I when I first heard the decision, I don't know how you guys felt, but I felt like Christian just ducked out of everything. Like he didn't want to be part of it. Right now we know that he wanted to be part of the 2 friendlies, but they said, no, that's a fine decision from Pochettino. That's what you want to do. But I don't know why you would have I almost feel like by not letting that out, you created all of this.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I might be wrong here, but that's how I feel. I don't know if you guys feel remotely the same at all, but I just think they could have avoided this.
Sure. It's funny, the interpretations of meaning and intent with communication in particular. Yeah, I think this could have been smoothed out in a little bit of a different way. It felt like maybe he got left hanging based on the statement from Matt Crocker, and maybe that could have been handled better. I agree with you that Mauricio Pochettino has more, and his coaching staff have the right to stick with one roster throughout the 2 friendlies and into the Gold Cup. But I wonder if that was a missed opportunity. Obviously, it's easy to say in hindsight after we lost both games, where you could have still, because we saw other Juventus players, right, playing for Turkey, Yildiz in particular, right? They could have had FIFA Club World Cup guys available to play in these 2 friendlies, and I wonder if it's a missed opportunity.
That's Poch's decision. So
I get that, but I wonder if it was a missed opportunity to bring that your core together, just to have 2 games against 2 very good opponents, which are going to be less and less opportunity to do that running up to the 2026 World Cup, and then leaving the Gold Cup for the guys that are currently in, right, and letting them have that, because I feel like you could have had it both ways in some ways. You know,
what do you think is more? I'm going to pose the question to you both. What do you think would have been more beneficial for Pochettino, to have the whole crew, everybody, whether you're playing Club World Cup or not, in for these 2 games against really good opponents in Turkey and Switzerland, and then say, hey, now you can go on your break or go back with your clubs, versus I'm going to stick with one group the whole entire camp? What do you think is more beneficial for him?
I said with Jimmy last week, I don't think you were on the show that day. I said if it were up to me, I would have had a full roster, or as full a roster for these 2 friendlies, because these are the most difficult games, no matter how you slice it for me. Mm-hmm. Okay, you could say Mexico, there's always a challenge, right? Canada. I don't want to disrespect those 2 teams, but let's face it, man, these were the 2 games that you wanted to see your full roster if you could have it. But I'm okay if Pochettino made the decision. That's fine. Like I'm good with that. I just think that like a lot of this could have been avoided, man, with just a little bit of different communication, if you will.
That too. I'll second what Tony said, because when I look at our last opponents, we played Canada, we played Panama, we played Costa Rica, we played Venezuela, we played Jamaica twice. I mean, the last time that we actually had a real game against a top opponent was Uruguay in the Copa America. So when you're bringing over teams like Turkey and Switzerland, who maybe some casual fans aren't aware of how strong they are, but these teams are good. They're very good, and they're very organized. Good. And I think that we would have benefited from having our core group there and if with anybody else that caught your eye that you want to add into it, and then you can say, hey, this was by design. We're going to have the core guys, and then Gold Cup's going to be the big opportunity for everybody to fill in the gaps and to see who can maybe get off the fringes and into the first team on a more regular basis, or being seen as a super sub or whatever it is. So again, it's easy to say in hindsight, we're emotional about how we performed in those two friendlies. Obviously there were some bright spots, as Christian mentioned, but I thought that was a missed opportunity to have to solve problems against a very good team. And listen, those are the types of teams, Turkey and Switzerland, that we're going to probably face in the round of 32, right? If we get out of our group, we're going to face a Turkey or Switzerland. So the more
why wouldn't you have your full strength roster for those types of games? Because look at the friendlies that we've had up until this point. And I've heard some good news about potential friendly opponents in November, South American opponents. So I'm looking forward to those, but we can't disregard matches. We're not at a point to say, let's just focus on one group the whole time. I'm with you guys. I think we should have just gone full strength. And then for the Gold Cup, Pochettino has enough time to get a look at everybody he'll have on his rosters for those,
100%.
Those games.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's fast forward then, because we have the Gold Cup kicking off on Sunday. I kind of wanted to speak. We have Trinidad and Tobago kicking off at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern on Sunday, June 15th. And that's happening up here, I believe, in San Jose. And then they play Saudi Arabia on Thursday, June 19th. And we finish off the group against Haiti on Sunday, June 22nd. I guess we should start here. I know the overarching thing is we need to win this, right? We need to win as many games as possible. But let's just talk about the group stages. And Tones, I'll come to you first. What are your expectations in terms of performance, controlling games, managing games, consistency of lineup? I mean, how much turnover do you want to see from one game to another? Do we feel like we should set on 11 to 15 guys, or do you want to see more of the broader pool throughout this competition? Where are you just generally about the Gold Cup?
Yeah, look, well, in general, obviously, get out of the group stage. That's a bare minimum, right? If you will, bare minimum. I don't
even want to hear about getting out of the group stage in Gold Cup. Like,
could you imagine?
I think in general, we go into Gold Cups thinking about winning Gold Cups, right? That's got to be the idea. Is you're going there to win a Gold Cup. I just wonder how fragile right now the group is after Turkey. For me, not so much, but for Switzerland game, right? Like if you're going to call on some of those players, it just got it handed to them, right? For 90 minutes, like you're going to call on some of those players. With regards, Jimmy, to rotation, you're here to win a tournament. Like this isn't two friendlies now. You're here to win a tournament. So you go, if you're in the second round and you feel good about what's happening, would we play Saudi Arabia third game, I think, right?
Second game, Saudi Arabia's
second game. And then who's that third game? Haiti. So against Haiti, thank you. So if you're in the next round and you want to make a couple changes, sure, that makes complete sense, right? To give players rest for me. But you're here to win games. We heard Christian say, but we were talking about the other night. There's got to be a culture of winning, and that's got to be first. You're the national team. You got to find ways to win. And this particular group, this won't be easy for them. They may get an easy game in here in the first round, but winning this competition will not be easy for this group of players. But it's not impossible either.
So when I look at our group, Charlie, it feels like there's a lot of trap games there. I played against Haiti in the Gold Cup in 2009, and we were down 2-1 to them.
I was in the game.
Time. That's right. You were playing as well. Yeah. Sorry, man. I know we crossed over.
I came in as a sub that game. And Stu Holden scored that banger to make it 2-2.
He did. And so these opponents on any given day, I mean, Christian talked about it, right? There's still another team on the other side of the field. They're trying to execute their game plan. And can you be more consistent? And I'm now paraphrasing, but can you go out and get a result and execute at a higher level than they are? These look like trap games. Saudi Arabia is going to be solid. That's another type of team that we could see in the round of 32 in the World Cup. And I'm continuing to put that out there because we're getting out of our group for sure in the World Cup. I'm manifesting this destiny here. But Haiti, we've already lived through it. We had a tough game against Haiti, and then Trinity's not going to be easy. Yeah, they're not going to be. There's a whole bunch of trap games here. So this is going to be an interesting challenge for the group, different than Turkey and Switzerland. And so I'm very curious to see which players he decides to trust. And then the execution of said game plan by these respective players. What are your thoughts overall on the tournament?
Yeah, I mean, we need to win the tournament. How likely that is, I don't know after watching these two friendlies, given the quality that we have. I think we can obviously make a good run, but the goal is to win the Gold Cup every single edition, no matter what, whether it's the A team, whether it's the B team, C team, whatever people want to, give the terminology for the team or rate this team. But I think what has to happen is there's got to be a better sense of a game plan in terms of how we press as a U.S. men's national team, what's that balance look like versus a mid block, low block. I think in this tournament, we should be aggressive. We should be playing a high line. We should be, closing down with crazy intensity, trying to inspire themselves, but also the country. So these are games that I hope we're pleasantly surprised and make a great run and they win the Gold Cup. And like Christian said, they have to figure out ways to win ugly, win. I mean, against Mexico and Canada, if that's to happen in the semifinals and finals, it's not going to be pretty. But can they defend as a group? Can they defend as a unit? Can they press as a group and press as a unit? That's kind of what I'm going to be looking at. And how does Pochettino coach a team like this? I think that's going to be telling as well. What are his substitutions? What are his tactics? Who does he play in what positions? Is he getting the most out of the group? That's going to be telling this summer as well.
All right. Well, as the famous former owner of the Raiders, Al Davis, rest in peace, once said, just win, baby. That's it. Just win. Figure out a way to win and make it happen. We're expecting a trophy at the end of this, and that is the Gold Cup trophy.